6:35, call the meeting to order. Trustee Johnson and Trustee Hinkle are excused, all else in attendance. Stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment and input. I don't think we'll be having any tonight. All right, moving on. Item 4, consent agenda and minutes. Everyone's had a chance to read the minutes of February 9th. All right, we'll be looking for a motion to consent and approve minutes.
I'll make a motion consent agenda and minutes.
All right, we have a motion to consent the agenda and approve the minutes of 2/9.
And I'll second.
All right, first by Trustee Duty, second by Trustee Gasser. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it, so passed. Excuse me, reports, sheriff's report.
All right, month of February 2023. In the month of February 2023, deputies spent more than 5 hours in the village. Throughout the month, deputies conducted 30 crime preventions in the village of Elmwood Park. Deputies conducted several traffic stops, issuing the following citations: 6 for speeding, 5 for operating after suspension, 1 for inattentive driving, 1 speedometer violation, 1 failure to obey a sign or signal, and 1 operating a motor vehicle without insurance. Deputies continue to maintain an active presence in the village of Elmwood Park. Assigned deputies, as well as area cars, will continue to safeguard residential areas, ensure business security after hours, conduct traffic prevention and enforcement in the spirit of community policing. In February's deputies did spend 5 hours of billable time in the village for an invoice total of $300.15.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
How much, I'm sorry, or how many hours were spent in the village?
It's for 5 hours. 5 hours billable time.
Okay, thank you.
Good, all right.
Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.
Guys,
You too. Thank you.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, President's report, giving an update real quick on the window project. So we do have a revised drawing, which is here. If anyone wants to take a look at this afterwards, I can walk you through it. But long story short, we simplified it. We took out half the scope, which we can add back in later. This is more so to attract bidders, to make a drawing that's easier to read and easier for them to send to their suppliers, get pricing on unit pricing. CUNY is cleaning up the bid form right now, and I've asked Rodrigo to start this back up then Tuesday next week. So it took a little bit longer in getting this cleaned up, but it's an excellent drawing. Not that it wasn't before, but now it's even better. So.
Great.
Otherwise, again, more of a quiet month. Some tenant discussions came up. We'll be addressing one of those in the agenda later on, but overall good. Questions? All right, Trustee Gasser.
Nothing to report.
All right, Hinkle excused, Johnson excused, Trustee Rude.
Okay, I've got a couple things here I'd like to talk about. First, we had our neighborhood watch meeting, the second one we've had. We had a very good turnout and things went very smooth. They're going to be changing things a little bit, how they report these crimes or any concerns that residents might have. It used to be we'd have neighborhood watch block captains and they would go to the different homes, but what they decided to do is go with emails to the different residents through the clerk's office. And so we got a list of people and their emails, but I would just say, if you know of anybody else who needs to get on the list, please let Kendall know what's going on, because then she can get these alerts out to people as they come in. So that was the first thing. The second thing is we're still having problems on and off with the lights. I don't know how we can go about fixing that, but I know that there's breakers that Tim has been throwing and using off and on. But that is something we're going to have to deal with eventually. Okay. Then somebody else, another resident or two, had come to me and said, "What about a little library at the tree?"
I was gonna do it at the playground.
Oh, really? Okay.
I already looked into it.
Okay. All right.
For just adding it to the playground, just 'cause I feel like it might be a little bit farther in, might be a little bit, I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
'Cause sometimes people are not safe on that patch of lawn, like in the rubber sale, people have actually driven over that before, and I hate to see that wrecked. So yes, I was looking into doing a little library for,
Okay.
even though we have a couple different spots, I think it would be nice just for our village to have one.
Okay,
So-
yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. And then lastly, I'm just wondering, the clerk treasurer contract, has she gotten that taken care of and signed and everything?
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay,
And pay, just so everyone's aware, the footnote on the contract that I added, that pay is retroactive from 1/19. So the contract is more recent, it's today.
okay,
The pay though is essentially, it's artificially extended the pay term of the contract, but the term of the contract is still the same.
okay,
So just to make sure that she's being compensated for what we agreed on from 1/19.
okay. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
All right, and then just a quick comment on lighting, yeah, we're still stuck until we get some better weather. What's happening is that water gets wherever the break is and it grounds it out, so whenever we have wetter weather or warming weather, so the water gets through, that's when the power is getting shorted out.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, Tim keeps going there and resetting the breaker.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Is that something we're gonna have to keep chasing? Because, you know, you're gonna have water seeping in and then you're gonna have these breaks. Is that something that's gonna,
Yeah, I think so for now. It seems that there's a bad run on the northeast corner of the village. So was it disturbed when they were doing some of the work, or is it just going now? Because we're seeing that on the Taylor, or the Lathrop area of the village, we saw some breaks there. But after we fixed the Lathrop one, we didn't really see any more, like, I don't know if it'd be called parasitic loading, but anything that's grounding out right now.
okay,
So the west side seems to be better than the east side,
yes.
so it's just more chasing that down. Prior to this, we didn't see any other instances of, it's not ground faulting, but just grounding.
Mhm.
So we'll take a look at it, it's getting close, the weather's breaking soon, so I say that as it's snowing outside, so.
How, how is that being reported, or is it just, you know, like, because I know the one across the street from me, I noticed was out last night. Do I just contact Kendall and say, hey, the light in front of such and such address is out, or is there?
For now, contact me, because I'm the one me and Tim are working on it with the electricians. So I have a good understanding what it is already.
Okay,
It's just a matter of getting to the good weather so that we can actually trace it.
okay.
Okay. And then, I know sometimes they're on for a night and then
They're not.
Yeah, and it's
And
just
just
like,
race into the breaker every time and put one back on.
wow, poor Tim's gotta go out all the time.
Yeah, he's getting his exercise.
You need to wrap some Ziploc bags around those things or something.
Well, it's the ground. It's the actual
Right.
wire in the
Oh,
ground.
it's the wire itself.
Yeah.
Do we still have problems with like those live wires that were out there that were
Right back
on the?
Those were, so what those were is those were abandoned before.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, you know, when they're going through it, looks like everything was buried. They were just sticking up. They were never live.
Oh, they went live,
No.
okay. I thought we were talking about that one time, it's like, oh, can't have that, okay.
Yeah, it was odd. There was just a run that went across the street and went to nothing. And that's what that was.
Okay,
It was odd.
all right, thank you.
All right. Trustee Stein.
No report, but I would like to thank Laura for her part in doing the neighborhood watch meeting last Wednesday. It was a nice meeting, and I think it was, I think there was some nervousness in the neighborhood, and I think that kind of settled, or at least kind of gave some comfort in that we're all kind of working together to make sure that it's not becoming, that, you know, that we can take a little control back and have it not, you know, be an issue in the village, so,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. I just really hope that people will take some of the advice that Susan gave us and go with it, because as the summer gets closer, the warm weather comes in, the bike trail is going to be an issue again, so.
All right, thank you. Trustee Studi.
Nothing to report?
Okay. Not any really exciting changes in our operating funds or reserves. Next item, unfinished business. Looking at item A, motion to go into closed session pursuant to statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, which is in this instance the administrator position hiring, to be a brief update.
Wow, you could like one of those people on the radio.
Or a rapper. we have a motion?
Make a motion to go to closed session pursuant to statute 19.85.
All right, no motion on closed session is stated. Is there a second?
Second?
All right, motion by trustee Gasser, second by Studi. Roll call.
Stein, aye.
Rude, aye.
Yes, or aye?
Rossi, aye.
Studi, aye.
All right, our closed session. Next item, 6B, discussion and update on the Kaiser Park project. So on the actual construction of playground equipment, I sent a message out to the recreation asking them what the updated start date is, and they said that they had not started their install season yet. So the information he conveyed is, well, let me get about 2 weeks into our install season, and then I'll be able to give you a much better understanding of where we're at. So we're obviously not first in the queue of people that had work lined up. So the way he's talking, I imagine it's gonna be, once they start, we'd be anywhere from 2 to more weeks after this 2-week period. Because if he's saying 2 weeks and then we'll give you a firm date, we're gonna be after that. So I can tell you right now, what he's saying, we're at least a month out. So we're hoping to get a calendar in March. I don't think it's gonna happen right now.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, I went over with Kendall today in the office, the plan commission, so we talked about some items for fencing and whatnot. We actually went through that today, so there's fencing, the light pole, we gotta square that away still, and then planning commission also wanted hours posted, so I don't know if that goes separate from the plaque that we were talking about. But that was something the planning commission said, made a stipulation of making it a park.
Park closes at sundown.
Yeah, so,
I have that in my notes.
all right.
I talked to Ben about the quote. I think I gave you the quote.
Mhm.
And then, I guess just when all is said and done, we should probably have like not ribbon cutting, but just some sort of celebration.
Ceremony or something.
Yes, just to, so.
No, that'd be good. The one thing you asked, and I am of no help on, is the Kaiser aspect of this. Were you able to find it? Because I was gonna start asking people here.
No, but you gave me that task, and Jen and I had, there were a couple of us that were gonna talk to. Yes, you wanted to get information about them to put in, well, we still have some time on that, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay,
I think
so,
it's gonna be difficult though, because I know Wendy Spencer has tried to contact the family, and she said she's got some information for them, some paperwork. She said she just had such a hard time, and she just came up empty.
Maybe we should just meet with them. And by we, I mean, I'm saying this, I really don't want to get involved in that side of it, because I'm not good at those types of things.
talking with Kaisers, but you said maybe having a hard time.
She can't find them.
Can't find them.
Can't find them, she doesn't know where they are.
Huh, well, who was communicating with them before? I was hearing that they were excited about this.
I feel like do the Johnsons know the Kaisers at all?
I don't know.
Let me ask Ben May or Ben's mom
Okay.
if they have any connection.
Okay.
All right.
And then the Chiquinis, all I have is that email that I forwarded. I don't know if I have Dave's number. I can get that to you right now, just don't have it. I'm not good at that either. I don't have it. I will. Let me do it right now. I'm going to text his brother. All right, so hopefully we get the answer by the end of the meeting.
And you want me to contact them too?
Well, just to see if they know anything about it, or, you know, since we're chasing down leads right now, trying to get something, we might as well ask them since they put a letter together.
I wanted to bring up too, I know Racine County was putting out kind of like grants or matchings for park initiatives. Union Grove got offered $500,000 for a splash pad that isn't gonna happen. So I was wondering if that's something maybe we could look into to maybe get the rubber matting down
Do
for
you,
the park.
do you know what the grant was?
It was for park
Oh, they didn't have, it was like an ARPA type of situation left over?
Sure.
All
I'll
right.
grab it. But it was from Racine County that they were trying to spend within the county.
Can you put a note about that, and I'll have Kendall call them, see if she can dig anything up?
I think that would be really great.
That'd be perfect.
Put some lighting down, put up some lighting for the park.
Who should she?
Racine County.
Okay.
About a park grant.
And then the plaque side of it too, which we talked about, which is another fundraising item, donors, that's just gonna be a blank area, so then we'll have a template for plates to get put on as people donate. What we really never discussed was what is the minimum that's gonna get someone a placard, so that 500 is 1,000.
Well, what do we,
What do you think?
there wa, I feel like we also had this somewhere in our notes about the park that had to do with, how much a bench would cost versus, like, if you wanted to.
Did we? I don't remember that,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean much these days.
I can look and put an email out about that.
Well, let's continue on the chain so that we're. not-
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. All right.
I'll look and I'm almost positive we have some listings of how much things were gonna cost, and if people did donate this, or maybe it was just talk about what we could do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll double check.
All right. Any other questions, comments on this? All right, then we'll move on to business. Item 8, discussion and possible approval of lease renewal / contract for building 4. So what this is, and typically this is something we would just roll into and do, because as long as they meet the requirements of the contract and they're an existing tenant, we've just been rolling forward with them. There is one tiny change that they requested that requires me to bring this back to you. The current tenant would like to renew for the same term moving forward, so the contract stays exactly the same. We changed the dates. Instead of the automatic 3% increase for the new term, they've asked that we stay it, and I said, well, we can't do that. I said, we'll meet you in the middle, but we'll do 1.5%. I said, no, I'm negotiating on behalf of the board, we still have to take this to the board for approval. So they are asking that instead of the 3%, we go to 1.5%, which is a total dollar difference of $1,500 times 5, so that's $28.50.
Per month? Per month?
Per month. They've been a good tenant, they pay on time, so I don't have any issues with it.
I think that'd be fine. Would
I
that,
agree.
would that be with the understanding that a future lease would again be 1.5, or would it be 3%?
So,
That after this lease is done?
what you keyed into is an excellent question, because I would keep the 3% written in here. That's the interesting part of the new contract, is that we start over. The language does say, and we would assume that we would go with the 3% when we do a new contract, we don't have to do that. So we leave 3% on here. We just make the new term 1.5%.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
All right. So then, instead of the 1,900, it would be 1,900 is minus the 28, correct?
it'd be $1,928.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so we're
sorry.
going up
Okay,
instead of,
1928. I thought that was based on the 3% up here, that we're going to be now going to 1.5%.
All right, so I will need a motion to change the, to approve 1.5 in lieu of the 3% increase. And it's more formal because at this point, it just becomes a negotiation. So I didn't want to just start making deals with tenants
Yeah.
that the board isn't aware of.
so make a motion to approve the lease renewal contract for building 4 for 1.5%
All
for
right,
this next year.
all right, we have a motion. It's just stated, so we'll go with that. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, first by trustee Gasser, second by trustee Stein. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, so passed. Next item, discussion and possible approval of the maintenance workers pay increase. So, again, this is an item from last meeting. We had a closed session item on it, did not have an open session item, so we need to formally approve the tier 1 and tier 2 pay increases from $16 and $18 an hour to $17 and $19 an hour respectively.
Make a
You can
motion.
say aye, so.
I so move.
All right, we have a motion to approve the changes on tier 1 employees from $16 to $17 an hour, and then tier 2 employees from $18 to $19 an hour. Is there a second?
Second.
First by trustee Gasser, second by trustee Studi. Discussion?
I have a question. I understand why we're doing this, but I think maybe you might want to explain it so anybody watching this might wonder why is this happening?
Cost of living really is the big one. The rates at which the employees do their job is already extremely aggressive in our favor. So there was some discussion from the previous administrator about this that may or may not have been based on feedback between the staff. At this point, though, they do a great job. It is a minimal impact on our budget, and it helps us stay competitive. So it helps to reduce turnover if there is ever the possibility of it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I do a roll call on this one.
Stein, aye.
Rude abstain?
Gasser, aye.
Rossi, aye.
Studi, aye.
All right, the ayes have it, so passed. Next item, approval of accounts payable. I had a chance to review. All right, trustee Rudy has an excellent budget done, and thank you. All right, and if there's no one has not had a chance to review, look for a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve accounts payable.
All right, we have a motion to approve accounts payable. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, first by trustee Gasser, second by trustee Stein. All in favor? Oh, excuse me, discussion. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, so passed, and we are adjourned.